Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is the first time that you are seeing this beautiful face on the internet. And today I'm bringing you guys my Screaming Color HTR. Now you might be wondering, what the heck is an HTR? Let me tell you. So my friend Jess from Cozy Jess Reads, she came up with this term where it's not a TBR, but actually an HTR, which stands for Hope to Read. And that is something that we mood readers need in life, because I'm a mood reader, and I'd be like, yeah, this book is going to be on my March TBR, and then I would end up reading that book a year after that. So that's why I don't really do TBRs. But if you were wondering what is the Screaming Color, it is going to be a readathon hosted by Gabby from Gabby Reads, and based on the information that she has put up on her Patreon, it is going to be a Patreon exclusive 48 hours readathon. And the idea for this readathon is that she will host it maybe 3 to 4 times a year, and each readathon is going to be like a different color. And it's so cool because the name of this readathon came from one of Taylor Swift's songs, from Out of the Woods, and it says the rest of the world was black and white, but we were in screaming color. Her mind, that is genius. And for this readathon, we are going to be reading books with green on the cover. It says that she came up with the idea of it being green because of, again, one of Taylor's songs, Invisible String, from her Folklore album. And the song says, green was the color of the grass where you used to read at Centennial Park. Yeah, basically that's just it. It's going to be taking place this weekend, March 25th and the 26th. If you want to participate on the readathon, I'm going to be linking down the post that she made on Patreon if you want to join us and maybe see what are the prompts, which there's not really prompts. Basically, we're just going to be reading books with green on the cover. It can be like the whole cover or just a little tiny dot. It doesn't matter, and it can also be any shade of green. I do know that Gabby is going to be doing reading sprints for 10 hours on Saturday, and also she's going to be sprinting on Sunday, but I'm not sure for how long. And yeah, I'm going to be just letting you know, guys, what books I'm going to be reading for this readathon. I have a stack here. It's a little ambitious, but I mean, I do have all the audiobooks available for these books, so I can get through them very quickly. And the first book that I'm going to be reading for this readathon is going to be How to Set a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. If you can tell, there is green here on the sides of the house. Oh god. We're good? Okay. So there is green on both sides of the house, and as I said, it doesn't have to be like a whole lot of green. There's just gotta be a little bit of green on the cover, and it's going to be okay for me to read it. And also, I'm going to be reading this book because it is the March pick for the book trip, which is Gabby's book club as well. And basically, in this book, we follow these siblings that their parents die, and they have to sell their childhood house, I guess. And there's dolls and puppets, and it's creepy. I mean, you probably already know it because it's the Grady Hendrix book. That's basically everything that I know about this book. And to be honest, I'm a little nervous to go into it because a few of my friends have not enjoyed this book, especially because of the main characters. But I'm going to try to go into it blind because I don't want to have like high expectations or either have low expectations. I'm just going to just read it and see how I like it. And yeah, I'm really excited to get to this one. It might be like my top priority since it is also the book trip pick for this month. and the live show is going to be happening next, well, not next, yeah, next weekend on April 1st. And yeah, I'm so excited to get to this one. Also, another book that I am excited to get to is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And this is a book that I got even before Gabby announced the readathon. And I was like, yeah, I want to read these books because my friend Kyla, she really enjoys this series. And literally like a few days after I received my copy, because I actually bought all three of them, as you can tell, Gabby announced the readathon, and since the prompt is reading books with green on the cover, I was like, perfect timing. Um, I don't really know much about this book. I just know that it is about this girl that she gets the news that this man died and left her an inheritance, and I'm not sure if it is going to be a house or if it is going to be like money or what it is, but basically the premise of the book is that she has to compete for whatever this man left her, and I'm not sure what her relationship with him is. I'm not even sure if she actually knew the man, but she has to kind of compete with his family to get the inheritance, and she has to stay at his house, and then everyone in his family is like, who are you? Why would he leave everything to you? And that's pretty much everything that I know. I really don't like to read the premises of the books before I read them because I like to go into them blind and just be surprised, and I'm excited to get to this one as well. Honestly, this cover is just stunning. All the details and the gold lettering, the green, it's just I love it. Now another book that I'm a little bit nervous to get to is going to be Finley Donovan Jumpstick Gun. I love this series. I love Finley and I love Veronica, but I saw Gabby's blog and also Katie's blog, and they didn't like this book. Or it's not that they didn't like it, it's just that they didn't enjoy it as much as they enjoyed the previous books in this series. And now I'm nervous because I love this series. I really don't want like my enjoyment of the previous books to be ruined by this. But also again, I am going to go blind into it. I'm not going to have like literally no expectations, but I'm nervous. And if you didn't know, this series is about this writer named Finley Donovan, and she is at a cafe or a restaurant, and she's discussing her next book with her agent. Now, the book it's about this hitman, where people pay him to get rid of other people. And this woman overhears the conversation and thinks that Finley is actually a hit woman herself. And she offers a big amount of money to kill her husband, like the woman's husband. And then Finley is stuck in all of these shenanigans that happens along the way. And it is really interesting. Honestly, I think that what makes this book really good is the relationship between, well, the friendship between Veronica and Finley. It is so funny and wholesome. Kind of excited, but also nervous to read this one. But I'm going to be reading it for the readathon because it is a short book. It's actually probably a little less than 300 pages, so I can get through it quickly. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I do have the audiobook for almost all of these books. I think all of them, so I can get through them pretty quickly. I also want to read for this readathon, which I'm not sure if this is actually green, because it's definitely more like a yellowish green. But it doesn't matter because you can read any shade. You can read any book with any shades of green on the cover, and it is The Kind Worth Saving by Peter Swanson. I love this cover. It is just stunning, and I'm nervous. Again, I'm nervous to go into this book because As you all know, I have talked publicly about my relationship with Peter Swanson. I usually don't like his books. I've only ever liked one of his books, and it is The Kind Worth Killing. That is the reason why I'm going to be reading this book, because I want to know what is going on in these people's lives, and I'm not sure like who we are going to be following in this book, but honestly, I'm not even gonna give you a synopsis of this one because I don't want to know anything about it. I just want to go into it not knowing literally anything. But if you didn't know, in the first book, The Kind Worth Killing, we follow this man that he jokingly says to this woman at an airplane that he wants to kill his wife because she cheated on him. And she's like, okay, well, let's do it then. And at first he thinks she's joking, but then he realizes that she's actually for real and she wants to help him kill his wife. And then a lot of things happen in this book. Well, not in this one because I haven't read it, but in the first one, I honestly really love it. It is the only book that I have read from Peter Swanson that I have loved and given 5 stars. So I'm kind of excited to get into this one. And it is also not that big. It is probably a little bit, well, it's also a little bit, yeah, it's 300 pages. So I can get through it pretty quickly. Now the fifth book that I want to read for this readathon is going to be The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Now I don't have the physical copy of this book, but I do have the audiobook, so that is the way that I'm going to be reading that one. And I'm pretty sure everyone knows what this book is about. But in case you didn't know, in this book we follow, of course, Evelyn Hugo, who is like a famous, I'm not sure if it's a singer or if it's an actress, but she's really famous. And she's going to be telling the story of her life and all of the people that she married or has been with. I'm not really sure. But yeah, everyone loves this book, and that is actually the reason why I have not read it yet, because usually books and TV shows and movies that are really hyped up, I end up not enjoying it as much because I have these high expectations for those shows and books and movies, and then when I watch them, I am disappointed that it was not like as good as everyone said that it was. But I do have high expectations for this book. I'm trying not to because I don't want to not like it. But I'll let you know. I will definitely be vlogging my weekend reading all of these books, and in the reading sprints with Gabby, there is going to be so many cool and fun stuff that she's going to be doing because she's also going to be having trivia while being on reading sprints about books and Taylor Swift stuff, because we all know Gabby is like the biggest Swiftie, and we love her for that because honestly, I love her. And yeah, that is my HTR for this readathon. But I also thought that it would be cool to kind of give you ideas if you want to participate, and maybe give you options for you to read. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So the first 2 books that I'm going to show you, for if for example if maybe you don't have any idea of what you can read for this readathon, both of these Riley Sager books, Home Before Dark and The House Across the Lake, both have green on the cover. And I love these books. I gave Home Before Dark 5 stars, and then the House Across the Lake, I gave it 4 stars or 4.5. I'm not sure, but it's on the higher side. So both of these I really recommend them, and in my opinion, both are great. I just love them so much. Another book that I have really enjoyed that it has green on the cover is The Last House on Needle Street by Katrina Ward. And honestly, I'm not going to tell you what this book is about because everything is a spoiler, so I'm just going to tell you to read it because it has a cat that enjoys reading the Bible. Like, if that doesn't convince you to read this book, I don't know what can, because honestly, this book is amazing. Do you need to know more? No, just go ahead and pick it up. If you are able to get the audiobook or if you are able to get the physical copy of it, please do because this book is amazing and it is so good. Also, I'm going to recommend you False Witness by Karen Slaughter. Now, if you know Karen Slaughter, you know that her books are not easy to read. But actually this one I found it to be more easy for me to read it than other of her books, and it's really good. The only thing that I don't like about this book and about the physical book is that it has deckled edges, and I hate that. I think this is the only book that I own that has deckled edges, and I hate it. The only reason why I don't get myself the paperback edition, whatever, it's because I already tabbed in this book and I don't wanna get rid of it. But the deckled edges, they really get to me. I don't like them. Now, another book that you can read for the readathon is Nana. You can probably not tell, but it does has green going on here. This is a horror book. It is really creepy and disturbing. I would definitely recommend you to look up for the trigger warnings for this book. But to be honest, I still don't know how I feel about this book. I read it back in February for Gabby's book club, and I have no idea how I feel about it. I do know that it's disturbing, creepy, and disgusting, but I don't know how I feel about it. But I do recommend it because it is so scary and creepy. I mean, it did what it had to do because it literally disgusted the shit out of me, and it disturbed me because there are things that are happening in this book that no thank you, no. Another Grady Hendrix books that you can read for this readathon is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I always get confused when I'm talking about this book because the title is so long. But anyways, this book has green on the leaves here, and also the inside of the book is green, so you can totally read it. Honestly, I have not read this book. Please don't crucify me. I promise you that I'm going to be reading it soon. The reason why I'm not reading it for this readathon, it's because I already have such a huge stack of books, because five full-length books for a weekend, it's kind of a lot, and I didn't want to push myself to read that much, even though I already am. But I will be reading this book soon. Watch me read this book in 2 years. Also, you can read the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. Does this has green on the cover? Well, the letters are kind of green, and then there's this like little part here that is kind of green. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it is. And I mean, the back is green, so that should count. You can totally read this book. I gave this book 4 stars. I know that a lot of my friends didn't enjoy this book, but I honestly did. So I would recommend it to you. Another book that you can read is none other than Verity by Colleen Hoover. I was so shocked when I went into this book because I thought it was going to be a romance, and it is actually not. It is more like a psychological thriller, but it is so good. I totally recommend this book, and if you have not read it, and if you have not been spoiled, you should totally read this book right now, or maybe for the readathon. but read it, please. It is so good. You can also read Comfort Me with Apples by Catherine M. Valente, and this is a horror novella. It is really short. It is so cute. I love this cover. It is just, it's just beautiful. Um, as I said, this is a horror novella, so you can read it really fast. And yeah, totally recommend it too. It's so good. And now the last book that I'm going to be recommended to you for if you want to join us for the readathon is going to be You've Lost a Lot of Blood by Eric LaRocca and Creepy Stuff. This book, as Katie once said, it has no plot. It is just a mood and creepy stuff and just weird stuff. Really good. I really recommend it. So that was it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed me talking about books. I am so excited to be participating on this readathon because I love participating on every of the readathons hosted by Gabby and also Olivia if we count Summer Wing, Spring Fringo Wing, Winter Wing, all of those. Yeah, let me know if you're going to be participating on the readathon and what books you are going to be reading. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you're having a wonderful day today. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.